I'm not 100% sure what this video is really about just yet, but I'm sure once I'm done with it, I'll be able to put it together in a title at some point in time. But today I feel compelled to share a little bit of insight on my situation, what happened to me, how I dealt with it, also how it changed my perspective. And really, it's one of the reasons why I'm sitting here today talking to you all. So let's just jump in and see where this goes. It was the summer of 2018. I was 39 years old. I'm 45 right now, so that was what, 6 years ago, five plus years ago, something like that. I do know that when I hit that 5-year mark, it was a pretty significant thing for me. So I know it's past that point, but yeah, 2018 summer, I was 39 years old. Wasn't feeling great. Went to the doctor, went back to the doctor, and finally they couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. I'm like, I need a something. Like, what can you do to make sure that you're able to figure out what the hell is going on? From there, I finally had a nurse practitioner, of all people, say, hey, something ain't right. I'm going to send you in for a colonoscopy. I'm like, hey, cool, whatever. I never had one of those before, but sounds like fun. So long story short on that, I went in, did what I had to do. And that day, the doctor comes out, he says, hey, this is cancer. I'm like, that's pretty abrupt. How do you know there's no test? He was like, my wife was there and she asked the same question. The doctor apparently said, because I was kind of out of it, that he can tell by the way it looks. So that same day, I went to the doctor. He was like, you need to go see a surgeon. I'm like, okay. So I went to go see my surgeon and went into the room. He looked at all the stuff that I got from my GI doctor, and he asked me the question. He was like, what are you doing tomorrow morning? I said, you tell me. What am I doing tomorrow morning? And at this point, my mind was all over the place. I just got some weird news that no one would ever assume that they would get, especially at 39 years old. And I didn't know what to do. I'm like, hey, I guess I'm coming to see you. You tell me what I'm doing at 6 o'clock in the morning and I'll be there. So the next morning, the surgery gets done. They remove 18 inches of whatever they had to remove, and I think about 27 lymph nodes. And I remember sitting in the recovery room. I don't know if it was the day of or the day after. All the days kind of blended together. But the doctor came in and said, this is what it is. It was stage 2 colon cancer. But they went through all the tests and they were reading them live in front of me. And they were like, all the lymph nodes were clear. So I'm like, hey, that sounds like a best case scenario. I'm not too educated on the subject at that time. So all my lymph nodes were clear. They removed what they had to remove. And I'm sitting there like, well, did we get it? Are we done? What's going on? And I respect that answer. I didn't want him to tell me like, hey, yeah, you're going to be just fine, when that's not really what's going on, So fast forward to the follow-up appointments and my treatment plan and all this other stuff. So long story short, I went through 6 months of chemotherapy, had a port put in to help assist with that. I was 1 week on, 2 week off, or 1 week on, 1 week on, and then I had pills the following week, so I was able to take pills at home, as opposed to some people that would get a drip bag. I had the pills to kind of supplement that, so that made it a little bit easier. But I'll tell you what, even today, when I go to take pills, if they're big pills, like I just had some antibiotics for a sinus infection, so forgive me if I sounded like shit on these videos because I couldn't breathe. Still can't really. But if the pill's a big pill, I still struggle with that. It's like I start to put it down and it's like PTSD, like all that shit starts to come back. But anyway, I've learned to manage through that. I still just, if I have to take pills, I take them. It's just, I have these little reminders of all that stuff that we went through. And I don't want to get into the whole thing because there's a lot of people out there that had it a lot worse than me, and that are still going through that fight and going through that. And I was very fortunate to be able to catch it at a decent time, go through my 6 months of treatment, and then I have been free from that for 5+ years now. And I still go for my checkups and my blood work, and everything's been good. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it remains that way. Yeah, so let's fast forward a little bit about what this did to my perception of life and time and everything else. Before I had cancer, it was very rush. Let's go, let's get this done. I gotta get this high-paying job to make sure that I make the most money that I can. And I don't know if anybody can connect with that without going too much further into it, but that's exactly what I was going through. Living the rat race, chasing the money, stressed out all the time, all that kind of stuff, in my job. And something happened from the point I was diagnosed to the point where I got done with my treatment, where my whole perspective on life shifts, you know? And I guess one of the lessons to be learned from this is don't wait for something like that to happen to shift and try to understand in life what's truly most important. And for me, that was, not as much money. I had gotten to a point where I was pretty successful. You know, I went back to college, I got my MBA, I worked my way up through a company, I was pretty successful, making good money. Still am. I'm actually still fully employed right now, which is, I guess the point I'm trying to make is don't wait for something terrible to happen to you to shift your perspective. And I think in the back of everybody's mind and everyone's hearts, they know what they need to do. They just don't do it, or they're afraid to do it, or something's holding them back from doing it. And I think once you get through something like this, all those inhibitions that are holding you back from that just go away. So it enabled me to be able to do this, where I was a lifelong musician. You know, I've been in bands and all of it, and I ran out of time when I had a family to be gigging and stuff like that. I can't be, doing that stuff anymore, staying out till 2, 3, 4 in the morning. So my creative outlet was, hey, I got an acoustic guitar, I'd play at home for my kids and play whatever. Now this is my creative outlet, So for good or bad, I started this channel, didn't know anything about video editing or video or cameras or any of that stuff. So I'm learning as I go, and I know some of the quality of my earlier videos was terrible and progressively gotten better, and I'm still editing all my own stuff. So I'm not the greatest editor in the world, and I understand that, and I'm just thankful to be able to share some weird, interesting stuff with you guys on a daily basis and have some fun with it. I guess to summarize this whole diatribe ramble up is, I had to have something really bad happen to me before I made that shift to change my perspective on what time really is about. We have a limited time on this planet, and this is not a dress rehearsal. So if you want something, or if you like something, or if you want to do something, do that shit. Like, who cares? Like, who else is going to be there besides you when you're 90 years old asking yourself, why didn't I do that thing I wanted to do when I was 45 or 39 or however old you are? It doesn't really matter. But if you have something in your heart that you want to do, get it done. Find a way to get it done. Don't live with regrets. And I hope that if there's people out there that are going through a battle of any kind with cancer or anything else, that you can get through it. And humans are remarkable, resilient things. And I think that we're capable of a lot more than we even think we are as a species. So it's unfortunate that we're not realizing our full potential because of all the bullshit that we're fighting against each other for. So anyway, I don't know. I'm thinking about once a week just sitting down and kind of talking through some of this stuff, just to make sure that I keep my mind clear and you guys are understanding who I am, and just to be 100% transparent, because I can sit here and babble about weird, mysterious, and creepy things all day long that doesn't give you any idea about who you're watching. And when I choose the people that I watch, I like to know if there's a real person on the other end, so I can make a connection with that person. And I'm just trying to be myself, be authentic, and hopefully connect with a mass of people that are like-minded, that think the same way we do. So we can all just sit here and just kind of have some fun. I know I probably said I was wrapping this up before, but I don't know what else to say other than thank you very much if you stayed this long to kind of hear this out. I just want to, again, felt compelled to talk through this stuff. So I appreciate your watching this and the time investment you put into doing this. And if you would be so kind to hit that like and subscribe button. I'm trying to grow this community so I can use this platform to give back and hopefully help people that went through the same thing that I did. So thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I will talk to you soon.